conference will now be recorded.
Well, thank you.
This is a regular meeting of the City of Trinidad Historic Preservation Commission. Today, January the 10th, 2024. It's now 5:30, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I understand Commissioner Thomas will be here a little late, but shall we go ahead with roll call anyway, Tara?
Yes.
Please.
All right. We'll go with Elizabeth.
Here.
Alrighty. Derek is not here yet. Carlos?
Here.
Chris?
Here.
Lauren?
Here.
All right. Number 2, public comments. There's no one in the room. Is there anyone online that wishes to comment?
Nope.
Nope. Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 3, which is the approval of the minutes from the October 11th, 2023 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes? Pardon?
Did
We haven't received them yet.
I don't know if I've seen them.
I don't think we have.
I sent them, I believe, to you, but that was, I think, in October. Do you want me to, do you want me to resend them?
Oh, no,
Oh,
if you sent us to it, then we probably have them. Well,
I think I sent them just to Elizabeth.
October?
Yeah.
What is this? This is January.
Yeah, so we were supposed to do it in the last meeting in December. We had the special meeting in November, so we didn't do any minutes. So
you're saying that you sent them to me, but I didn't respond to you?
I think I got an okay from you.
Hmm.
I can resend them and we can just.
So what, if we can roll this over to next meeting,
Yeah.
sorry if I fell down on that. It was, after all, a couple months ago.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, if we can move to item number 4, public hearings, we have none this evening. So we have lots of, at number 5, items for discussion. Does anybody have a problem, or is it okay, I should say, if we wait to take a vote on chair and vice chair until Derek arrives?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll bump that down just a little bit. All right, so item 5B, and just for clarification, this is website information and mailing materials. I think that's the reference we had to Commissioner Madrid putting together materials, which he did an awesome job of at our event last week. But was there an additional report there?
I actually did have a list of everything, and I thought I had it in this book, and I didn't. So I didn't bring it, but I mean, kind of the stuff that I did have on there that I do remember. I mean, for one, a map of our historic district would be great.
So this is specific to online.
Yeah.
So just for clarification, to refresh all of our memories, the idea was that we want to get more public information out, especially for people in the historic district, so that they
Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we do have a portion on the board and commissioners page, and that. Let me just go back a little bit.
Yeah.
That was one thing that me and Chris were kind of talking about at one time was, is there any way that we could get our own page instead of just this little drop down? Because the stuff that we're kind of like looking at is kind of more robust and a little bit more detailed than just this little drop down is going to do. Because it's kind of.
And can I just real quickly insert in that conversation, and that is, so Anissa Roth has certainly some ideas about things that she'd like, suggestions that we need to talk about as a commission about getting, do we want to do, we've talked a little bit before about having a, feature a historic property of the month, or, have other content. So that's really in line with what you're saying, is something that's a little more robust.
Right. I mean, something, we were talking about a page just because of a lot of the information that I was thinking of putting together was going to be a lot more than the drop down was going to kind of be able to accommodate. But also, looking at the website the other day, a lot of the stuff that's in there right now is out of date, I mean, as far as you're
Yeah,
not in
we
there.
can add more to
Lauren's
that
not
part.
in there, Chris is not in there.
Yeah, maybe I wonder if I can ask,
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious, in general, like, what is the process for getting the website updated and,
We have to talk to Desiree, her or Kim that's up here.
Okay.
They both are in charge of the websites. So, we just have to give them the information, add it,
Okay.
on a Word document for her, and she puts it on there.
Yeah.
I can ask if we can get a bigger page, because we wanna put more information out
Right.
and see what they say. I'm not sure what the specifications, like what would require,
Okay,
but I can check and see.
yeah,
I was thinking maybe we could have, keep the presence in that little drop down, but have like more of a summary and then link to
So do
Yeah.
both.
another page,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's my thought, I don't know if that makes sense to everyone.
totally,
But then,
totally
yeah.
does.
Yeah,
But-
especially if we were gonna, so we're gonna have new officers after this evening,
Mhm.
so if we could just get that little bit that's on the boards and commissions page updated, it just would really help
Yeah,
if
no,
we could
not a
have
problem.
that done as soon as possible, and then we can explore this idea of a fuller page.
Right, right. I mean, of course, the ideas that I'm sorry, did I
No,
interrupt
go ahead.
you? The couple of ideas I had was, of course, like a map, of course, the historic district. And I did look into, cause I was telling you that map,
Was incorrect.
well, and then I talked to her and she was kinda adamant that it was correct. And that's, I guess, according to some of the city maps or something like this. And that's one thing I did go down to, cause I actually had the nomination form for a historic district, which shows all the approval in that form as far as what it shows, the portion of the location boundary of it says that the legal description was at the county. Well, I went down to the county yesterday to look for it, and there's no such thing at the county. So, in that same document though, there's a map that's attached to that document, which I'm almost 100% sure the boundary was drafted off of that map. And this map is a very old map, which is attached to a paper that Dr. Lewin did at the college. And I do have this document, so if we need to use it for any reason to like
Double check.
make sure what the boundary is, I mean, it does show it in that. That's exactly the same boundary that's on this plaque that's sitting out on Commercial and Main Street
Yeah.
for the public, that shows what the boundary is. So it's kind of like if we're already showing that's what the boundary is to the public, I'm pretty sure that's what the boundary is.
We can double check, but I thought you were right when you said it, I was looking at it. It makes more sense if it's flipped
Yeah.
because that's the one issue that Arizona was having, that because their buildings are just outside of the Corazon district, but it's part of the historical district.
Right.
So that would mean that we are flipped on there. She probably doesn't remember.
Yeah, I mean,
So you're saying you were correct in saying that those boundaries were
Flipped.
flipped?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna just, because I still haven't talked to Keely about it, and we haven't, and I haven't showed her what I have as far as, because she's interested in that, because she's like, well, I was going off of something else and I haven't seen that. So I'm gonna get with her so we can like clarify it, and then I don't know if something needs to get changed in
The
the
only
city
thing that
that we
needs to
gotta
be
like.
changed is the map itself, and
Right.
if I remember right, she gave me the access, so if I have to contact her anyways and have to get more access back to it, because it's one of those Google accounts that you have to have keys shared
Oh,
in,
right.
so I'll have to ask her if
Okay.
she can share me back in, so.
Is what we're talking about a local designation or, sorry, the district, is it local or state, or is there a?
It was done by the state when they did our survey down here to
Yeah.
show us where the boundaries were. She was going off of that, but she could have just flipped it when she was doing the key, because she hand drew the map. The map was hand designed by her, so she possibly could have switched the,
Yeah.
the key when she did it.
So we'll figure out, but I mean, we definitely need to have the map. I'm sorry, I went off on a kind of tangent there just about the map and.
That's
the boundaries
important
and stuff, but.
No, it is important to have the right boundaries.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, I'm still gonna go down back over to the county because they said they're gonna do a little bit more digging around to see if they can find anything there, but I know that there's a big issue with some of the records over there. So, and I did show, the clerk and recorder, Apple.
Carrie Apple?
Yeah. I did talk to her directly about the issue and she saw the paperwork that I have and she was like, oh yeah, it says here that we should have it, so she's gonna look around more to see if she can find anything.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just unsure, and then talking to Keely, kind of was like, well, that doesn't make sense if you're saying something different, or like the maps are saying something different, like, we should clarify this so that we know exactly what we're putting out there, what we're telling everybody, what we have on an actual map, especially is something that should be part of the public, you know. To keep on after that, I mean, we also need to have like links to History Colorado as far as the preservation site. A lot of the links that I had on my actual presentation need to be included in there. The link to the actual National Park Service site,
Yeah, all that stuff.
that kind of stuff like that needs to be put on there so that, you know, the public can kind of see the history, or actually like the incentive part, maybe even an incentives portion of it where we have links to that, you know.
I also wanted to, I think I talked about this a little bit the other day, but kind of put together a section that will help people do their own research.
Yeah.
We have, the city has a bunch of city directories going back to 1873. It's kind of sporadic, but I've been using those plus the Sanford fire maps that you can get from the Library of Congress, and you put those together and you can find out which, you know, because addresses change over time. But those together plus with the newspapers, the Colorado Historic Newspaper Collection, are really, really good. I've been kind of trying to do some research to figure out what happened on Main Street over time, and I think I kind of would like to also maybe turn that into some kind of presentation that we can do sometime down the line, but have the resources online. Yeah.
So what would be the best way though, because given what you are saying, I mean, I think this is a little bit more than, well, just check with whoever does the webpage and we'll make it better, or let's talk to Anissa. I mean, do we need a work session? Is there some way, because I would love to really see this happen and not just be talking.
Yeah, like I said, I made better notes and I was actually kind of like coming up with the design as far as like drawing it out and as far as like what should be here, what should be there, and like but yeah, I think the work session would be awesome, so we can figure this out
like
together.
I said, I'll talk to Des and find out what we have to do, if we can even have another.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if there's a limit to how much
Right.
the city can have on their
Right.
website.
Right.
So I will check with her and see if we can go forward with that.
Mhm.
And then we can decide at the next meeting
Yeah.
if whether or not we need to do a work session
Okay.
to do it or not.
Does that work for everybody?
Yeah, definitely. I think
Okay.
that's the best way to go
Yeah,
because,
okay.
because there's just a lot of information I think that we should be putting on there, especially most of it is a lot of links, like you're saying, to different
Resources.
things, to just other resources that we could be giving the community to just look at stuff on their own. I mean, the other part for the mailing materials, I kind of have a little list about that kind of stuff, but that there has to deal with more like, we need to first clarify the boundaries so we get all the addresses for the residential properties and also like the commercial properties, but as far as mailing materials, every one of those people needs to have at least the flyer and then something like the nomination form to, if they want to nominate their own building, to be put in the local, because I think just giving people that option like immediately in their box, or like, oh, well, I could put it on the local landmark list, that would be nice.
I have a question. I wonder, you know, we have a lot of properties already on the list. Can we create like 2 separate mailings and make one.
Oh, yeah,
Is that what you're talking about?
that's definitely,
Tar-
yeah, what I'm talking about.
Targeting the people already on the
Yeah.
list, and then everyone else is in the district get a separate, more generic.
Right, right, and I think, cause you said that they already send the bill out to everybody, and we could possibly put something in that, right?
There's a possibility I could check with utilities downstairs because they're the ones that do the mailings for the bills.
Right, and I mean, if everybody in the city is getting something for just like, even if it was just a
Some
little piece of
postcard.
paper, like if we were to get a piece of paper and cut it in threes and put that slip and it just says, you know, the historic district, go to these links, and it has maybe a QR code to the exactly the link of the page
Yeah.
That would be
or
fine.
something like that, like that would be nice.
Yeah, like a,
And then also saying that, because the one thing I messed up and I was telling Elizabeth that I really wanted to say during my speech too was to invite people to the meetings, because this is how usually it is, and
Yeah.
it'd be nice to get, and it'd be nice to put that on there too, like when our meeting is every second Wednesday of the month at this time, please show up and give your input on the historic buildings.
And maybe
what you
that's
think we
something to
should do.
think about, so how do you engage people, how do you get them, I mean, you know, coming to a meeting at 5:30 in the middle of the week is not really, you know, on the top of most people's lists, and,
No,
I
but they
mean,
come to the city council.
they
meeting.
do, they come to city council,
So-
so is there, what would draw people to this meeting though? I mean, if there was a standing item on our agenda each month about we're featuring such and such property, or we're featuring, I don't know, some thing, some topic that was, you know, of interest to people, maybe that would help to bring people, to the meetings.
I had kind of a thought related to the mailing, but I wonder, I don't know if is there any kind of newsletter, like, or a email newsletter the city sends out, or?
And Nisa was working on that. She was wanting to do one.
So I think that would be, I think that'd be a really good
Always
idea
do one
for the
for a
city in
while.
general, and we could, each commission and board could feed into that, and it could almost be like a
Yes.
weekly.
Well,
it was probably the
well,
content for a weekly.
it gets posted on Facebook.
Yeah, that's
So-
what I
Well,
was
so I
just
think
gonna
there
say,
needs to be
like,
a direct, not everyone's on Facebook.
Yeah, yeah.
I know, but it's out there, so
Yeah.
it's gotta be someplace else too. It's
Yeah,
probably-
but-
Probably at the Welcome Center or at the Art Space, because that's where
Well,
new.
Is this a physical newsletter you're talking about? I'm thinking an email newsletter would be great, because.
Wally Wallace.
Wally
Wally
Wallace.
Wallace.
Mhm.
Why did I forget his name already? Was doing that for a good while from out of economic development.
Yeah.
And I know Anissa helped him with that. So there's definitely a recent precedent for that
And a
happening.
list, an email list that was getting sent
So,
out.
yeah.
So check
still
with
have-
Anissa.
Yeah, and then, I mean, we could also see if Anissa could even post, on the Facebook site, just an event of our meeting.
Yeah, no, they are.
Oh,
Anissa is,
okay,
yeah,
yeah.
she is posting for our meetings.
Okay.
Well, but it's not an event post, it's just a post.
Well, no, not, I mean, you know, I just meant like.
Yeah, she's putting she puts a public notice to say all the meetings that are happening for the
Okay.
week.
Right.
It gets put there and then gets put on, the website, city's
Yeah.
website, and then,
Then they put it at the library.
and it's at the library, and it's
downstairs.
downstairs, but, it's also put, at the, on the Facebook too.
I think it'd be really cool to try to publicize, every local building that we had, either as a part of the newsletter item or, a Facebook post where we kind of add some context with the history and whatever, and that gives kind of our work more visibility and maybe gets people more interested in what we're doing. And even on those posts, we could comment, Paul's
I mean,
welcome at the meeting.
We could also discuss about putting together just a poster that we use some of our funds to say like, hey, we are this is what we do, and these are when our meetings are, and put them up in a few key places.
Well, I think there's
Could we
enough.
not do that?
There's enough of substance to this,
Mhm.
like, I think it's regular ongoing outreach,
Yeah.
historic preservation outreach that we need to do, obviously.
Mhm.
So, if you can take that first step and find out, is a
That
page
page,
feasible, could we
That'd be
do a work
awesome.
Yeah.
session, keep all these ideas,
Yeah.
and let's bring it back to,
Yep, not a problem.
to a work session, it sounds like. Are we okay to move on?
I think so. unless you want me to discuss more of what I was talking about, but I think
No, if there's
I
anything
think,
else
I
to
think
add,
we
yeah.
should definitely talk about that in a work, more of a work session, because, I mean, I kind of spouted, but first step is to know if we're gonna
If
be
we
able to
can do
have a
another
big
page,
space
yeah.
for them.
Well, there needs to be capacity for it to be sustained. In other words, you know, we do these kind of one-offs like we did, you know, which we've done, I think, for a small commission, a good job of doing them, but who's gonna maintain these things? Is that a city staff person? Do we really have? And I'm not criticizing anybody by any means. It's just that do we really have people's commitment, ability, capacity to do these things and to be realistic about what we can actually do with outreach?
I also looked at the city website a little bit, and it's a kind of a third-party, you know, software as a service that, you know, they make websites, it's like a website package for cities, you know what I mean? So different features and things,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I don't know the details of how, you know, what, you know, sort of, package they have with it, but, it's, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought on that. There was a reason I brought that up. Oh, I was hoping maybe it would be, you know, it would be good if we could, maybe, if there's a way for, you know, us to get a separate page and have like permissions or whatever established for some of us to be able to edit just that page, or put edits there. I've worked with systems similar like this, like there are ways you can make edits and then that goes to a review, so maybe we could do the work and then you know, someone in the city
We're talking
could
about capacity.
reviews and
Yeah.
approves
Yeah.
it, so
Yeah,
we don't have to necessarily give them a Word
Rely
document
on
that they
them
have
to
to
do
type
all the
in and, you know,
work.
convert,
I'll
like,
ask and see, because like
So I'd be willing
right
to do a lot
now,
of that
and I
work.
know the only
Yeah.
people that have
Yeah.
access are Kim and
Right.
Jess. So I don't know if there's allowed to or not allowed to, I'm not sure, I'll ask her tomorrow and see what she says.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
it
that
might
would
not
be
be
great.
tomorrow, it would have to be probably Friday, they're doing the interviews tomorrow. So they'll be busy.
anything else on that?
No, I think we're on the right page of just figuring this out first, and then we'll go
Page,
from there.
good, page, yeah. All right, moving on to item 5C, this was, we talked a bit about trying to do some kind of, you know, timeline for this historic preservation, for our ordinance, for the existence of a commission, just something really a quick and dirty, easy reference sheet, so that would be, that's part of this discussion too, is just basically seeing what have we been up to, how long has there been a commission, and just to kind of help us stay on track. You know, what did we do for Echoes last year, sort of a diary or I don't know if there's a better word.
I think part of what I was thinking with that, when we talked last, was also kind of like an onboarding process for a
Right.
document for new,
Just a
new
reference,
commissioners,
some
so.
kind of reference for
I'm
new members.
putting a few notes together on that as far as like what I, you know, experienced when I got it, and maybe, and I also thought, you know, I don't know if we could, I think there's an email, I think we got an email, and we also got a kind of a packet in the mail, but maybe we could have a, you know, depending on how the website thing works, maybe we got a section on the website that's like a, you know, welcome, here's this, that, and this, you know, be familiar with these things, and, you know.
Well, we had that 3-ring binder.
Yeah, and I got that, and I.
Did you get that?
Yeah, I think that's good, and,
Okay.
and I,
I
you
just
know,
wanted to make sure that.
yeah, I did, but I think there could be a little bit more like guidance as far as like what,
Expectations.
Yeah, expectations
or roles, or.
and some of the online resources, I think,
Yeah.
you know. It doesn't have to be anything like
No,
huge,
I had
but-
to look up a lot of that stuff on my own. So, you know,
I mean,
I
don't know.
I bought a couple of historic preservation books
Mhm.
that kind of talk about it, and kind of like to like
It's
get me more
definitely
like,
a
okay, what are we not
self-paced-
doing? That kind of like other people are doing stuff
Well,
like
I also
that.
saw there's like an employee section of the website. I don't know if we really count as employees, but I wonder if there could be a private section for commissioners, and then the onboarding sort of stuff could be. But also, I don't know about, maybe it doesn't need to be public because we're doing public work, and it wouldn't be anything that couldn't be public, you know.
No, I think
It's just a lot.
it could definitely be, something even that's generic for all the boards and commissions, you know, just to have an onboarding orientation kind of,
I think specifically maybe, there's a few things about the commission.
Right.
Like, you know, there's some, can bring it up, but there's like a document that was done in 2021, that historic resource document.
Survey.
Yeah, and I guess, maybe linking to that and explaining how that is relevant to our work and,
Right.
something like that. Like, I can put together like a draft for this next.
If you wanna just do something for,
Yeah.
as a draft, I'd be willing, after, again, we kind of sort things through, to kind of take that back and work on it a little bit
Yeah.
as well, so. But yes, I think it's definitely needed. Any other thoughts or comments on the timeline? And so what do we wanna call it? I'm not sure, we just wanna call it historic preservation,
I guess part of
something more
it's
descriptive.
intended for commissioners, but maybe we also need something that may be more public, like in terms of
Well, one thing that I have, that you have access to, and I know you don't, cause I gotta add you to it too, is that drive folder that I created.
Yeah.
That has most of all that stuff in there and it has a lot of information, so I'll remember to put
That's
that,
right,
like, put
because
you
you
guys on
did-
there.
yeah.
So I set together a Google Drive folder that had all
Yes.
the surveys, had a lot of documents, did it have some photographs in there too?
I
Had a bunch
don't
of stuff.
recall, I haven't looked at it for a good while.
Yeah, but it has a lot of information in there too for,
So we need to reshare, because we have, 2 new members
Yeah.
and,
so
yeah.
I'll make sure to, I
So
I
that's-
told Chris I was gonna do that in
Yeah.
spaces.
So
Well, I
that's
can
where
send you
that-
an email with my email, but.
Yeah,
So that's where the, like, onboarding or whatever welcome package needs to go, is just make an addendum to that Google Doc,
yeah. Yeah, I could definitely, we could do that. I mean, all of, everybody that's
We
gonna
just
be
have to
attached to
remember
that
to send it.
has an editing capability, so you can put anything in there, take anything out, whatever you wanna do.
Yeah, I think that makes, seems like that makes the most sense. That it's kind of localized and it's something that although, we do always have to keep in mind the open meetings, requirements, and it is, so really the only thing that could be in that, Google Drive would be,
It's all public documents.
it's all public documents, it's not any agendas,
No.
meeting minutes, any other kind of,
No. The only thing I think that might be in there, and this was, I think some of the times when we didn't have Tom around, is I had recorded some of our meetings, and it's just audio recordings that are in a folder in there.
it probably needs to come out then.
And well, they should all come out and go somewhere,
Yeah,
on the
I'll have to ask Audrey about that one and see
Yeah.
what we'd have to do on that.
because,
But I mean, technically it would be open, that would be,
yeah, it's all open.
yeah, cause.
But at the same time, that still needs to, I don't think this city has all that stuff, so
Yeah.
they still need to have that, or Tom, or,
I'll send that
I'll
to the
take a
work
copy to
session.
put it in with my stuff.
yeah, I can just give it to you, and you can put an image over and just put the
Yeah.
meeting on audio.
That would work.
Okay. All right, can we move on to item 5D, and we're gonna have, Tara's gonna talk about the Saving Places Conference.
Yes, we need to decide who would like to go to that one.
I think new members should go.
New members.
That's what we did last time, and I think that's what they did.
Well, there's 2 of them, so you can, we just need one person at least one person from our group has to go this year to go for the grant, or for the, our rankings.
To maintain our.
Maintain our, there we go.
designated-
I was getting there, promise.
Where is it this,
So first one is January 31st to February 2nd. That one is both online and in person, so you can do either one. It's in Boulder, Colorado. The second one is September 7th and 8th, and that one is again in person or online. Oh no, that one's only in person. That one is in Steamboat Springs, Colorado.
That's the on-the-road portion, that's kind of the newish, they've started doing, I think, in the last couple of years.
Yeah, on the road.
yeah, the
conference.
Boulder one is the big one,
Yeah.
which that's one I would suggest to be there.
So can I ask, so we were getting clarification about budget?
We
and
have enough
cost
budget.
For what?
We could send 1 or 2 people.
So,
then we can still attend
Online if you
online,
like.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, so everybody can go, but we could send 2 people in person.
Is online free?
No, I
No,
don't
it's not.
believe so.
No,
But it's
It's just less expensive.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
less
it's just less
expensive.
expensive. It's nice to go if you've never been because it's just everybody from all the different historic preservations
So
across the
who's
state. so-
who? Historic.
Yeah, it's pretty much that. And it's pretty fun. I did it
Yeah, I
last year
think
and it was
it's-
really fun. I had a good time.
Who would like to go in person? Anybody?
Well, I can't go in January. I know that. I can't do that because of the show.
What were the dates in January again?
January 31st and to February 2nd.
What are the dates in the other dates?
September is September 7th and 8th.
September.
It's only 2
Steamboat.
days.
Sounds
September.
lovely.
Yeah, the January this month is a little, I don't think I can do that either. I could do it online.
I wanna do it online.
Yeah, I'll
But
do
the
it online,
September one, I think, I can.
I'll pass on September since that's all only in person.
That's on a weekend too, the other one is the middle of the week.
September what again? I'm sorry.
7th and 8th. Oh, you're fine. I have to ask 15 times too because I can never remember. You wanted to do it online too, Carlos?
Oh, I can't do that one either. I
Do
can't
you
go
wanna
to
go
that
to
one either.
Steamboat in September?
Pretty sure.
Can you
I
do
mean-
the Boulder one online?
I probably could. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to give these
I
guys
think
opportunity to
online
go
counts
before-
too. It doesn't have to be in person. They just said that one of us has to attend, so
Right.
I don't think it matters if it's online or.
We've gone online for the last couple of years.
Oh, okay.
Mostly.
I was just gonna say, oh yeah, you said something about that. It's not in person?
It doesn't
Okay, okay.
require, it just says it's,
Oh.
we have to have attendance, that's it.
Right.
I can't attend either one in person.
Okay, so do you want to do the online one or
Sure.
online?
I should be able to.
Well, I don't know.
The registration for the online, if they do it the way they did it last year, they do have some of the sessions are recorded and you can attend them after the fact. But you do have to register in order to have access to those sessions later, so that might be an option for people.
Chris, did you want to attend online?
Yeah, I can do the January one online, and I think I can go to the one in September. And, but what does the city cover as far as that would be?
I believe we do
Conference.
registration and, I'll have to double check with Audra on that one.
Last
I
year
know
was
it's
registration,
registration.
hotel and meals.
Meals, yeah.
I think it's really good, I mean, just talking as a commission member, for one person to go in person, at least represent Trinidad at one or the other. So if you could go in
I
September,
could plan on that farther out, so. And it's a weekend, so. I think that'd be fun.
yeah.
And the one in
Cheerleader
January is a
for
weekend too, isn't it?
No, it's the middle of the
No.
week.
Yeah.
Middle of the week. Is it like daytime stuff that I would?
Yeah,
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 it's
she
all
said
very good.
there's some stuff that they record and you can watch later on.
Well, that's probably the one that I would have to do if I had to do one.
Okay. Alright, I will look into the registration and then let you guys know.
Okay.
I'll probably email you guys. Yeah, it is, it's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
and what is the registration fee?
They didn't post that. I looked everywhere for that. I think you have to go through the process for it to tell you. Because I was looking online and then I looked at the little booklet that they sent and nowhere does it say, it doesn't even tell you when you have to register by. None of that information is here. I was like, that's not the most unuseful,
Yeah,
So it's the same folks, the Preservation Inc., or what are they called?
I think so.
let's see. Colorado Preservation Incorporated.
Yeah.
All they do is they just give you the little link to do the registration, but it does not tell you anywhere on there, any information.
Information.
I even looked online. So I will get on tomorrow and do a little bit more research to see if I can find it, and then I'll email you guys and let you know if I got it all registered.
Sweet.
It sounds good.
And then the second one is they did the CLG grant, but they didn't send us the application until last week and it's due the 16th. So I don't think we can do this year's, but we can look at possibly getting ready for next year to do the grant if we want to. I think next year we'll just have to start earlier.
Remind me though, because I know we already had this conversation, so I get unclear about this. When you say the CLG grant application for what purpose?
We were wanting to possibly fix up the park and the bandstand over at Kit Carson.
Right, so in terms of an actual, what's the word I'm looking for? So it's just kind of misleading. CLG grant application for restoration.
Yeah, to register.
This was at Kit Carson, right?
Yeah, that was the one we were talking
Well,
about.
we haven't
possibly
really
landmark.
talked about it as a group. So
Yeah, we
We
barely
wanted
even
to
covered.
landmark it and then afterwards do some restoration to get it back up to where it needs to be.
Okay.
Is the
So,
grant,
and it's usually every year around this
The
time.
grant, yeah, like I said, this year, I literally got it in my mailbox last week. It came the day I talked to Elizabeth, so it was Wednesday, and I'm like, the due date is January 16th.
Yeah.
Doesn't give you a lot of time to get the information together for it, so.
Well, since that kind of relates to item E, Echoes 2024 ideas, we have listed Children's Museum, Kit Carson Park, and Central Park. Can you do a quick update for everybody on that?
So I talked with Central about Central Park because we were talking about doing a landmarking of that. Steve and
Right.
Audra were commenting maybe not the best of idea to landmark
they're
it now
changing.
because they're not restoring it, they're updating it.
Yeah.
So now it's no
Actual-
longer gonna be as historically, because they're taking everything out and putting in new products and everything, so. They recommended maybe looking somewhere else, possibly the landmark instead of the Central Park. But Kit Carson is still good. Children's Museum, they've talked about they're not opening it again.
Right.
We don't have the funds for it for the
But
city.
we could still landmark it.
Yes, they did say we can still landmark it if we want.
So we had talked, I thought, and refresh my, if I'm forgetting, let me know. So we talked a little bit about sort of focusing our Echoes event on Kit Carson Park landmarking and doing maybe picnic, music, kind of something special for the bandstand at Kit Carson Park.
Yeah.
But we could also, so we could landmark two things at least, because I think we really need to up the landmarking. And so we talked about doing Kit Carson and then maybe the Children's Museum this year. So but I had another thought related to the Echoes and, when Marty Hackett gave her shout out at the end of her presentation at our event on Saturday, she talked about the 150, 250, the
2026.
the 2026
Bicentennial.
events that are coming up. And so to me, in my mind, it's just all kind of related. How much energy, time do we have to do these things? What is our role as Historic Preservation Commission? If we did something less ambitious in 2024, what do we want to do for Echoes, basically? Do we want to do Kit Carson in 2024? And I was thinking we need to put it maybe along or at the same time as the Santa Fe Trail Days, so it's part of that. Do we know when the city's gonna organize Santa Fe Trail Days,
Yeah.
right?
They were taking over that this year.
So do we know what dates that's gonna happen?
They haven't started talking about that yet. I know that they, I believe Nessa is leading that one, the charge on that, because she said she was gonna talk to me about it, but she hasn't come to me yet on dates. I think she's trying to get to the Smithsonian thing first,
Yeah.
before we start.
Wrap
We're
that up.
And that's
working on that.
wrapping up here soon.
Yeah, I think they only have one more weekend.
Do we know what year the the bandstand was built there?
I don't know anything really about the bandstand at Kit Carson Park.
I
We
could
need to
figure
do
that
some
out.
research.
but-
Yeah, we need to do some
We need
research.
to
I
learn.
have the data.
Yeah.
I have the data at home, I just don't have it.
It's specifically the bandstand that we're.
Because I thought that would be like a really nice thing to do this year and have a band maybe play music from the period, have a Dixieland band or a John Susan marching band or something like that. We had a picnic and sort of a ice cream social old-fashioned event out in the park to celebrate the landmarking. That would be like a big event.
I think so, I mean, I think
You know,
that's.
it's not echoes, and then
Yeah.
maybe the next year we do something and then save something really big for 26.
Or we could still call it Echoes.
Oh, yeah, we
Have
could still
the-
I think
for
we
sure.
keep that,
I think
we
we
keep
keep
that
that
brand,
brand,
we,
for
I think
sure.
we need to keep that, carry that over every
Yeah.
year, regardless of what we
Yeah.
do, it might just look different.
Yeah, we should make it look different every year, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
The same
Yeah,
year.
it shouldn't be, we shouldn't just repeat the same thing,
Yeah,
because
that's what I
people,
think.
you know, there's a limited interest, and if people come to one, the next one's not gonna be that much different.
Right,
It's like,
Yeah.
so if
So-
we do Echoes of History, but it's, you know, it's the bandstand at Kit Carson Park, the way you just described it, I think that could be really well received.
And, did Derek say that we own the uniforms for the baseball game that we had?
That's what he said he believed we did.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe it'd just be fun to do that every year too, and just have, you know, a little old-fashioned game from the.
That would be one thing to tie it, it would be different every year, but it would tie from each year.
Yeah, each year, that'd be like an annual thing that we do, and then we do something else. I don't know, we have the uniforms, people, I
When
don't
are
know, did people enjoy it? I don't even know, I didn't go, so, my bad.
Yeah, I wasn't here, I was out.
Yeah.
And the other
It's just
side
an
of the
idea.
state. When are they finishing the parking?
It's supposed to be done before the first games, so.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they've been working on it even in the, even in the snow. So they're rushing to get it done before the first games.
I think that Kim Schultz is really interested in keeping that alive somehow,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, it
So
would-
I
it
don't,
would
and I'm not
fit-
opposed to it.
Well,
Yeah,
it
I
would
don't
fit
think it would
even
really-
with the Echoes at Kit Carson Park, if we have the event at Kit Carson Park and then have the game afterwards, it would go right along, you know, baseball game with, you know, outside events, you know, burgers or ice cream, I think the ice cream Sunday.
Yeah.
I mentioned at the Urban Forestry Board meeting last time, we're trying to plant some trees, you know, next year. I brought up the possibility that maybe we could plant a tree, commemorative tree along with the, you know, as part of the ceremony or whatever.
That'd be nice, and
Yeah,
push,
the landmark
bring some
and
extra
stuff.
boards
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, I like that. So, I think, you know, part of it is, I think the Kit Carson Bandstand Landmarking Echoes event is doable by us as a smallish
Yeah.
group. You know, adding the baseball game, I mean, if Derek and Kim Schultz really wanna do it, I think that's probably doable too.
I think Derek's really passionate about
Yeah,
it.
I think
so,
So,
yeah.
I mean, I think you could let him loose on that with him and they could figure that out. I mean, I'm gonna help with that too, but yeah, I think having a smaller, different style theme picnic, I think would be kind of cool.
I really like the idea of the 2026 event that's kind of larger, maybe
Yeah.
brings in people from the area,
We
around
could
the
talk
area.
more about that.
And maybe we try to put more time into that,
Yeah.
you know, long-term planning, you know.
Because we could plan for that and do other stuff at the same time. instead of
Exactly.
Just focusing on planning for one thing.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
So are we in agreement that we want to have Kit Carson, unless we need to put Park Bandstand, to be
Yeah.
clear, as our primary Echoes event for 2024 with landmarking it? Do we want to, in fact, then try to landmark the Children's Museum as well?
We could focus on that even afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do
I
that
think
right
that
after
should
we
be on our
finish
It
this.
was also, it was
Oh,
the
yeah,
first,
for sure.
it was the
We
first
don't have
firehouse.
to, we don't have to do them
Yes.
both at the same
Yeah,
time.
it's
Thank
old,
you.
I mean,
Let's stretch that up just a
what was it?
little bit. Let's not try to do them at the same time, let's
I
stretch
said, yeah, we
the,
don't
let's
have to
stretch
do
the
them at
two
the same
landmarks
time.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
Cause
Yeah.
we
maybe more in
are
the spring,
gonna
more in
get
the
more
fall.
landmarking from other, I mean, I'm assuming that if our outreach works.
Oh, yeah,
we'll
yeah,
be
yeah.
landmarking
Yeah.
other things on top of these,
Yeah.
so.
Well, but that needs to be clear too about who, you know, who puts together those applications. I know that, you know, some people have done it on their own. but we've always, from my understanding, there's always been a consultant who has done the,
I know that the ones that
Landmark.
we saw here were done by themselves, they weren't done with any consulting. The ones that came in before us, like from Keeley and,
but anything prior to that, when Chris Hall was here, we worked with Ms. Boomsa, and she was the consultant who completed the applications for landmarking for, I think, the library and for City Hall as well.
I checked with Audra and she said that she didn't see anything that made it to where we had to use a consultant.
Well,
Because the landmarking
Yeah.
applications
Yeah, I
are,
don't think you have to use a consultant, but
you just have to have the research
you
done.
have to have, there's a lot
Right.
of research involved and a lot of paperwork and,
Right.
And we can
things
work
like
on
that.
that as a group and just have it done,
I
you
kinda
know.
had a question about that.
I'm just, if I could just finish my thought, so I'm just a little hesitant to say, oh, we're gonna work on that as a group, or that the responsibility for preparing those applications, would fall as sort of, whoever can work on it. I think we really need to, we haven't landmarked, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, very many buildings in this town, and I think we could be doing a lot more, but I just don't know that we have a process in place, so I don't feel like we should have to pay a consultant if we don't need to pay a consultant. But do
I
we
can look
really
at
and
the-
truly have the time and the capacity? I don't necessarily as a commission member, think there's lots of other things that we can spend time on. So I just wanna make sure that we really know what we're doing when we talk about how we're gonna do this, so.
Like I said, I mean, it just depends. I talked to Audra about it. I mean, she says if we wanna use the consultant, we can. It's $2,000
Right,
the last time. And I
right.
don't know if the price went up with inflation.
Probably.
I said, I
Well,
really
I did
enjoyed.
have a conversation with Keely, and she said she might be interested in doing something like that for us, but I didn't ask her what she would charge or anything like that.
I can ask her and see how much. I was on the phone with her today, so.
Are we just talking about historical background information and stuff
Right,
like that?
like
I
what was-
really enjoy doing that
Well,
myself.
preparing
I don't
the
like-
actual application
Yeah.
for landmarking
I
is
really enjoy,
specific.
I've been doing a lot of that research and I think I'd like to help, with that if.
Sure.
And a lot of that work's already been
I'm
done
just
with a
making
lot
it
of
that,
the
so.
prior surveys.
I have no problem putting in my time and helping either. I mean, paperwork wise, I do that all day, every day, so.
Well, if we could.
A little more paperwork won't kill me.
There's a pretty clear list of what you need for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you could, so I'm
There's something
hearing
like
if we
the
can check
best-
with Keely, we have Chris saying that he's willing to work.
I'm willing to help you on
Carlos, working on those applications, and yeah, I just feel like we need to say, we are
Well,
going
we
to
can-
shoot for
We
this
can
this
try
new
with
landmark.
Kip Carson Bandstand first and see if we can do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
we have plenty of time if it comes down to we can't do it and we need to get a
Okay.
consultant.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right,
Shall we, let's try that.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I also think we should try to figure out one more. I think we
Yeah.
should try to get another third.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, just because we can't do Central Park,
right.
okay.
We had our
But we
list.
have the list of, you have it, don't you, Chris, of all the city-owned buildings?
I think I brought it, actually.
Sorry, I was doing a bunch of work, I got this, like, right.
I thought it might come in handy. Yeah, here we go. So, it says City
Yeah,
Hall.
go ahead.
City Hall and.
And that one's already done.
It is done,
Yeah,
okay.
City Hall's done.
And the library's done, you
Library's
said?
done.
Okay. The grandstands, we wanted, those are Central Park grandstands.
Yeah, that's.
We really can't do those
not
anymore.
really-
And then, kindergarten, we wanna do, now, Fire Station 1 and Fire Station 2, is Fire Station 1 different than the Children's Museum?
No, I think
No,
Fire
it is-
Station 1 is the
I think
children's
these
museum.
are different
Yeah.
addresses though.
Yeah,
1605 Santa Fe Trail is Fire Station 1.
And that one's not a historical building, I don't believe.
Okay. So it's-
That's outside of our
This is
district.
This is historic Fire Station 1. Maybe
Okay,
that's
yeah.
county fire station.
Yeah, it's also 1973, so that's later on.
but what's,
Um,
72 was old, isn't it? Or, I mean, Fire
73
Station number
years.
2?
Yeah, it's 50 years old. You what?
Fire Station 2?
It says Fire Station 2 is 1920.
But if we're gonna do
That's
one
100.
fire station, let's think of another one. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
the Children's Museum, that's 1891, and that's,
Yeah, I
you know,
think that
we
one
should
really
Yeah, it
deserves
is also the
it.
original
It
fire
does.
station.
Is the Opera House? Oh, that's not city owned, never mind.
No.
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 The Fox Theater, that's the one that we needed to talk about, we had to talk to their chair.
And also, didn't somebody say something about the temple?
Temple Aaron
I
is
know it's
nationally.
not city, but it's
Yeah.
national and we
Well,
said,
let's
did we
get
s-
back, let's look at our
Yeah.
city-owned buildings and stay on that just for a minute if we could, please.
Yeah.
So, Hughes,
So we're trying to
Hughes
get the
Lumber,
city
the lumber building
that
on
we can
Plum
affect.
Street.
That one's not owned by the city anymore.
Okay.
that is, so that did
Yep. Now
The
it's
water
owned
shop building, I don't know what that is.
Waterworks,
This is 222 North Gray Creek. That must be out.
with the waterworks building?
No,
Yeah,
it's
that's
separate.
right out there where you, somewhere where, close to where the gun range turnoff is, isn't that where Great
Gray Creek is
Yeah,
out
that's
that
way out there.
That's way out
That's
there.
outside of the city
Yeah.
limits. What about the
It
one
does-
that's behind near Noah's Ark? Or not the one that's over the Riverwalk, the little itty bitty.
Oh, that, yeah, that old, the old water.
The waterworks.
The waterworks
The old-
building.
The one like on Cedar?
It's,
Is that off Cedar?
Tom, what's it called? The waterworks building? Is it waterworks?
The one right
building?
over here?
yeah.
The double A frame?
Yeah. The one
Yeah,
I just know it as the Waterworks. I don't think it
Okay.
has a,
Oh,
Chappelle
it's
built.
Waterworks
It was
building. I'm sorry,
Chappelle.
it's
Chappelle built
Waterworks
it.
Building, 223 East or West Cedar.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that
I
would,
like-
that's
I
a
think
good
that
one
would
too,
be-
that's
I think
1879.
that, I mean, if we haven't done that yet, it should be
And
done.
that
should
one's
be.
that they're wanting to turn it into something, I can't remember what they were looking at doing.
Heard that too,
so fire station number one, AKA Children's Museum, and then the waterworks building, and Kit Carson Bandstand are the three buildings that we're going to attempt to landmark in 2024.
Those are also like some of the oldest ones on the list too, so I think that's,
I think that's a good goal.
Well, we could look at me and Chris could look at the list of what you need to get together for the landmarking of these. I'm
Okay.
sure maybe Nick can figure out for on these three at least what we can get together and then go from there.
That would be great. Yay. Okay, so, but is it also agreeable to the commission to have our Kit Carson Park Bandstand landmarking event during Santa Fe Trail Lights, whenever that's going to be? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think until we find out, we'll
Yeah,
just.
did we wanna have it landmarked by then?
We'd wanna get it landmarked before then, cause we can have the plaque and then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
could do the ceremony at the
Yeah, exactly.
event, but,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
I'll
That's
check
just
to
so-
see if Anissa has a date for Santa Fe Trails.
Because then we could just sort of leverage or maximize the attendance based on that event as
Right,
well.
yeah.
And it's, I think, in the fall, I don't know, whenever.
Last time I think it was June.
Yeah, it's been in, I was just looking and it's been in June, it's been,
Different
late,
times.
yeah, so.
it should be baseball weather regardless though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll double check with her and
Okay.
see if we know what dates we're looking at.
Okay, cool.
All right, so are we good with item number 5E?
Yep.
We'll move on to 5F, the HPC budget.
She said right now, tentatively, it's still 24,300. That's not including though what was spent this last weekend, because she hasn't gone through the receipts yet for that.
Well, for the film event?
Yeah, like the flowers and then the invoicing for,
Jim?
I thought we were already paying Jeff.
well, it's possible, but she might not have, she hasn't put it in the books yet.
She hasn't.
Budgeted,
Hasn't.
or pulled it from the budget yet.
Charged it against the budget.
Yeah, she was still working on that when I was talking to her.
Because he's done way, way more than whatever he got paid initially to do that.
Yeah, but, that's the, right now, our budget is 24,300 for this year. And we don't know if there's gonna be a budget next year.
So we need to be mindful
Yeah.
about how we spend that. And one thought would be to, just to kind of loop back around to videography services. You know, would we want this Echoes 24 to be videotaped at Kit Carson Park?
I don't think he would have to go as in depth as he did this
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
time.
It would be nice to have a record of the event.
Yeah, yeah.
To just, as for us, that we've done something and to put out there and it'll be nothing something else for people to Google and they'll see this great landmark.
Yeah.
It's 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
Yeah, something short.
We could maybe work with Main Street Live and maybe get some people out there in costumes and stuff to, just to. give
Well,
it
if it's
some
gonna be
flair.
with Santa Fe Trail Days, I think it could, the cost or
Yeah.
however it could be, shared for
Yeah.
any kind of videography that was done, so. Okay, so we gotta keep that on our radar too. So the budget 24-3, was there anything else that we wanted to discuss? So we've got all the Saving Places registrations will come out of that
Yeah, the
as well.
registrations will come out of that.
I think it would be helpful, I've thought about this before, just to have some kind of name tags when we're out doing events. That we have our name and historic preservation, something, permanent, not just a piece of paper. Can we do name tags?
I can check to see where we can find
I
those.
don't know if any of the other boards and commissions have that.
Well, some people have name tags, don't they?
Well, we have our badges for work.
Name tags or
Maybe that's what I.
Yeah, you probably just seen our badges,
Yeah, okay.
but I don't think any of the other boards do, but,
It'd be cool to get some old timey looking.
Yeah, what
something
would be
that was-
some
just
better
if we're
than
gonna do
just
more
a-
public facing stuff, that'd be cool to have.
What do you guys think, is that,
Yeah,
you're okay with that?
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't cost a whole lot.
Some kind of permanent name tag? Just with the name and the HPC on it? Anything else on budget?
I have a question, for some of these, like the Kit Carson event in particular, and I've got a bunch of old, I've been collecting a lot of old postcards, and I think a lot of them might be good, to scan and blow up for using for promotional sort of things, but I don't know if that would be part of the budget for where.
Postcards,
Well, I've got a bunch of old postcards from the 1800s to, early 1900s, whatever. Trinidad, Kit Carson Park or Central Park, like,
Yeah.
I just noticed like in one of the rooms over here, there's an old picture of one of the buildings. Similar postcard that's been blown up, but, I got a lot of those that, I guess I'm saying I could offer, for whatever
blown
kind
up.
of content for promotional activity, but I'm guessing maybe the city already has like resources for that don't
We
come out
pulled,
of budgets.
last year for the Echoes, I know Chris was pulling pictures from all over the library and everything like that.
Mhm.
Those cost money.
Yeah.
We found out, so that would be nice to have those
Yeah, they're old
cards.
enough, I'm sure there's no copyright on them, so, but once I get my scanner working, I'll be able to.
well, it does beg the question though of, we need a budget for our Echoes event.
Yeah.
So do we have even like a rough number to reserve for that event?
It just depends on what we are looking at, what we want to include. I mean,
2,000,
3,000.
5,000, 3,000?
I think.
If we're gonna have music, we might need to pay some people.
We might have to pay some people.
Some food.
We might have, there might be like a sound system or something.
I've got tables and chairs.
I mean, I think
Sure.
for food, we do have a lot of local people that have some like little
I
food
think
truck
food
stuff that we
trucks
could
would
probably
be-
invite
Cheers.
over there.
Yeah.
Food
The only
truck.
problem with food trucks is that by ordinances from City of Trinidad, you can't not be mobile, they have to be stationary in a certain location. So, I know, I didn't know that.
And that,
Is that why that food truck
That's
park
why
is
that-
gonna be like park, exit 18 or whatever?
yeah, it's always at that same place, but
It's
it's
always
still.
at the same place.
Aw.
That's the ordinance, there's not a lot
Wow,
of.
that.
The only one that you probably
that's-
see is Mario's Taco, and that's because that she doesn't prepare food on the truck.
Oh, is
The
that that
food's
little?
already in the truck and she just delivers.
Yeah,
So that's the only way she gets around that.
that's,
But like, I'm thinking like if we're talking about doing
Anyway.
an ice cream social, there are multiple ice cream parlors in Trinidad that
That's
would
right.
probably cater.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll keep it simple, but
yeah,
if we can have at least some budget for that, possibly for some music, maybe for, we want, maybe other games or their cornhole.
I think if we need to lock down what we're wanting to do, then we can start looking
Yeah.
at how
Right,
much
but I
that's
just wanna
gonna
reserve
cost.
some money for that.
Right.
Yeah, that's all there is, so.
I think-
I
it
know.
won't, it won't cost more than what we
Yeah,
have.
it won't cost more than what we have.
I think
There you go.
this is something that,
That's a sure thing.
I think this
So we
is
have our
something we
maximum.
should like, try to detail with us detailing whatever we're gonna do with the website and mailing stuff in a work session.
Because we really do need to, so we have, if we say we have $24,300 for, that might have to do us for,
A couple of years
until
Yeah.
some other
until we can get some more
comes
funds.
along.
Yeah.
So I would really like to see it, actually, we need to look at that budget, and we need to at least have some kind of,
Maybe that's something we should look at the grant for.
Oh.
Will the grant possibly cover operating for us?
yes.
I'm sure.
I worry about that. I was looking at the charter, it talks about how we are supposed to be actively pursuing grants and things like that. And is that something we could do more of, so we get money for like the 2026 conference or, you know, things like that? Cause like if we start spending our money, if this is all we have maybe for a couple of years, this 2026 is up in the air, we wanna do something bigger. Maybe we should start looking at applying to grants for that stuff.
And that's what I was thinking too, because our board is not the only one that lost all the funding. Every
Yeah.
board lost funding this
And
year.
especially, might even be able to get a grant from the state or something if we wanna do something special for 2026.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's what-
Yeah.
So the grant that is available for this year, it should be a grant available next year too. So maybe we should start looking at getting that set up for the following year.
Yeah, we do need to be more proactive for sure about that. Yeah.
I'm sure some of them probably want a specific plan or some specific project, so maybe that, we can target those towards the 2026 stuff.
I think it's a great idea, and I think that we have a lot of, we do have specific projects that I think if we just have if the timing was right, I think people want to give us some money for those things.
Yeah.
Namely the state, History Colorado, so, and there are other sources.
I
as
know
well.
for the registration, they offer scholarships. So we could possibly, we missed the deadline for this one. But for maybe the next event or next meeting, we can do conference. We can look at maybe getting a scholarship to pay for our registration too. So ways to save money for next year.
Okay, good conversation. So, I see some work sessions in our future for sure on a couple of these things. So one on our outreach conversation that we just talked about, and if I use that term outreach conversation, we kind of all know what that means. And then our ECHOS 24 planning, that's probably also another work session or two down the road, so.
Yeah, so we're gonna probably have to plan one of those in February or something.
You think we should plan one for?
I mean, I think the faster we get on this, the faster we
Okay.
get something done.
Well, while we're at it then, so do you want to do a work session on outreach business sometime in February?
Sure.
And then I kind of like it if we can, and I know I don't wanna impose on people's work schedules. If we could do work sessions on the day of our meetings, although that makes it a longer stretch, it's just kind of nice not have to come for another meeting, but whatever y'all think, and it's not up to me, I'm just throwing that out.
I think enough, like, really, head noted, whatever.
Heads up.
Heads up on it, I can request a day off, but I just don't wanna, I wanna give my, people I work with.
Yeah, no, you
So,
wanna be considerate.
But yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind
Coworkers.
using,
Well, I was just looking, our next meeting is Valentine's Day.
It is,
Yeah.
indeed. Do you wanna have a work session on that day, on February 14th, before our regular meeting? We could start our regular meeting a little earlier. Would 5 work for our, well, we don't wanna mess with people, with the public's time for our regular meetings, so. 4 o'clock for a work session?
So do a work session on top of doing the meeting. So start the
Before,
work
yes,
session
the
at
work
4,
session
then start the
before.
meeting at 5:30.
Correct.
If we could do like an hour one and then have like a break.
yeah.
So just have a small break between the work session and the regular meeting?
I think so, or even if it's an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay. But still start at 4
Keep
o'clock for our work
Oh,
session?
yeah, but keep
Okay.
it, like, try to keep on it, like, let's try to keep on a schedule.
I would say,
try to get
try to have like
on.
an agenda.
Yeah, yeah.
Specific agenda, that way we're trying to get looking at time.
Well, the agenda is,
I do
Yeah,
the
we haven't
agendas for
got
work
it, but-
sessions.
I
Well,
don't know if we can get all of them done in an hour.
Oh, no,
the
no,
work,
no.
so this work session we
Yeah.
were saying was specific to this
Like the
outreach
websites and
conversation that we just
Yeah.
had earlier. So we call it outreach, HPC outreach effort. Work
and then by
session.
that time, we should probably know about the website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
So if you
can be
can
like,
keep
okay,
things
well
on the
then
calendar,
let's
you
do this.
kind of, it gives you some.
Yeah, and I'll
Yeah.
make sure to bring all my notes this time.
Okay, so February 14th, 4 to 5:15 break, and then 5:30 regular meeting on the 14th. All right.
My son's gonna be mad at me. It's his birthday.
Oh,
Oh,
It's okay, I'll make it up to him.
so the next item was 5G update on ongoing coordination with Historic Main Street, tourism boards. I'm not sure what I was thinking on that exactly.
You said you were wanting to start working with the other boards to coordinate more working together.
yeah,
Well,
to like share
making
resources and
yeah.
make sure we're not doubling on certain
Well, making
things or
sure that
events.
historic preservation is on, as part of the tourism and economic development conversations beyond whatever is happening when we're not around. But we just need a seat at the table and make sure that we're working in conjunction with those efforts.
I think the best way we're gonna be able to get this done really is if one of us, at least one of us, makes an effort to go to their
I knew
meetings.
you were gonna say that.
I mean, that's the only way it happens. And then we tell them,
I
well,
know.
we're coming to yours, and they'll send
Yeah.
20 years to ours. So we can like go.
I don't know how well that will, well, I mean, like with Main Street and stuff, that one's not too difficult. With tourism, shouldn't be any more difficult,
I mean,
honestly.
the public meetings are.
Yeah, they are, but just
I
getting
just have to
somebody to
look
have
at
time to go.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm usually available, so. I mean,
Yeah,
I
it
could-
depends on who they are,
meeting,
so that can happen.
I have a schedule, I can send that to you.
If you could send us a schedule, and yes, and I mean, I think you're right, Carlos, so we just need to make the effort, but I think we should be asking them to come to our meetings as well, or
Oh,
at least to
definitely.
have some kind of
Definitely.
reciprocity
Yeah.
about that.
If we reach out first, it'll be more likely.
And Tom records them, so we can always watch them off of his channel.
Well, I do, but it's just not the same.
No,
You're
it's not the same as
you're not
being
talking
there.
to
It's not
each
the same as
other
being
and,
there.
you know,
And
saying, hey,
interject
wait.
and be like, hey, like we're thinking of this over here.
Yeah,
I think it would be good to have an ear onto what they're thinking about and ways we can, add more historic context to their marketing and stuff like that.
Yeah,
yeah,
and then I don't know, maybe down the line we could figure out like doing an inner meeting with all of them like once a quarter or something. Or something, I don't know, or one, like every other, I don't know.
I really like the idea of, I mean, it goes maybe beyond, buildings and preservation, but just integrating, the history of the town,
Cultural
the area,
heritage.
into all the various marketing and sort of tourism.
Well, especially mostly historic Main Street, because that's their literal,
Yeah, but there's just a lot of stuff I've been researching
their
and finding that's
interaction
not,
overlap with us.
Isn't really well known yet, things that we can kind of bring to the surface and,
yeah, well, I think anytime, working together is just makes way sense, if people are willing, to do that, so. I think having like a joint meeting, maybe once or twice a year would not be unreasonable. And I think it would be something that maybe you could ask Steve about and see if he'd be willing. I mean, that would be something that I think he would have to coordinate. And They have done that before, but only, I think it was for another, it wasn't for coordinating on substance, it was mostly for training
Right.
Yeah, they, I guess they have training to, how to be on boards and stuff.
Right.
or. Okay, so you're gonna send the meeting.
I'll send the meeting schedule to you guys.
Okay, well.
Audrey just sent that to me, so I'll be able to send it to you guys.
And then on H, take pictures for Facebook of historic locations, that's a little bit, one way of saying, again, Anissa, I think is really supportive, of what we're doing and really wants to be helpful, and this is just part of that larger outreach, discussion in terms of featuring a property or somehow just making, more public what we're up to.
I'd really like to make it, think beyond Facebook,
Yeah.
and make this like something that, I don't know, if we have the city website resources, that'd be great, but I don't know, if maybe there's some way we could have some other public third-party resource, like Flickr or something, I don't know what, but something else that anyone can go to it, and they don't have to be on Facebook. Because I know this town is very Facebook-centric, and it's good to be on there, but I
The
really.
whole world's kind of Facebook-centric.
Yeah, I was off Facebook for 5 years before I moved here in Tulsa. I didn't need it, because I had enough social contact and other forms of media and stuff. But so I mean, it does reach a broad audience, but
Well, I just don't know that there's a lot of other options.
Well, I know. That's why I say
So-
I would like to try to think of more options. Like I think a email newsletter, like I mentioned before, would be.
I'm actually surprised how many people in Trinidad don't have email.
Yeah, maybe that's an issue too. I don't know. I guess I'm thinking of people that I talk to who say, I never heard about that. I'm not on Facebook. I didn't know this Echoes thing happened. I didn't know this Sony thing was gonna
Well,
happen.
just dealing with a lot of contractors, I'm actually surprised how many of them don't have email.
Oh, I
And
know.
don't, yeah, they
They're
don't.
overlapping,
Nothing.
overlapping audiences,
Yeah.
different,
Yeah.
sort of, whatever.
But I mean, there's no real newspaper,
No.
so.
Newspaper,
Dude,
yeah.
is there a way that we could find out, like, going with, like I was saying, we're about putting something in the bill, but also they send stuff to everybody. Do we know how much the city pays?
I don't get anything.
Just
because I
for,
get it all
just to
online.
send like
We got
one
a,
bill out to everybody, like,
It's 63 cents.
yeah, I know, but
Postage
I'm just
is
saying as far as like how much it costs to like reach everybody within the city boundaries, like.
I could
You know
ask
what I mean?
the utility ladies downstairs, because they're the ones that run it
Right.
through. Because we have a postage machine here,
Right.
so we run it through.
Right,
So I could ask them to see how
Everyone-
much it costs.
just to be able to
City.
like mail everybody something.
Yeah, like a postcard. And postcards are maybe cheaper than that. I don't know. No, they're not.
Are you sure?
It's just postage, no matter.
But if we were talking about budget and outreach, maybe, that's part of what we need to decide and use
Yeah,
something, really be specific. If maybe we do need to do a quarterly, mailed something, postcard or whatever it
How
looks
many
like,
people filled
newsletter.
out the form for you for the event? Because you said you're gonna, did they sign in and check?
I don't
It
know.
was hard. It was hard to get people over there. I wish I had brought some like clipboards to be able to get.
Yeah, that was, I didn't
So-
coordinate it very well.
I didn't see really anybody.
Well, I'm just
It was-
wondering, because I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, people giving to accept emails and stuff like that, I mean, the
Yeah,
postcard's a good idea. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said, I can ask them how much it would be. They should be
Or-
able to, we should be able to estimate, like,
I
how
know
much
they
Yeah,
did
it
mail
costs.
or
in
even
that-
the amount
that
of-
survey. They mailed out a thing telling everyone to go to this website for a survey.
Yeah,
I
that
think
was
it
from our gas department, yeah.
Yeah,
or even the amount of mailboxes in the city limits. Just say that.
yeah.
I don't know, but I can ask about the utility thing.
Yeah.
I will ask downstairs to see how much.
Well, in the city proper, we have what, 8,000?
Well, according to the 2020 census, we have 8,313.
Times 63 cents.
Well, that's people, residents. I mean,
No, I know.
But yeah,
Roughly.
yeah. I guess
But I can
divided by.
see, we should be able to have, we should have an estimate, I can ask them downstairs, or,
I mean, I'm just wondering how much that would cost us to be able to send
Right.
something to you.
And that's why I think our budget does need to be broken down, and we need to be really
Yeah,
mindful and think
cost-effective.
about
But
what.
if we snuck something into the utility bill,
That's
that
what I'm
wouldn't
saying.
cost us anything.
It's
that's a good-
true,
that would be-
it's
Cause all I would
true.
do is ask them to stuff it in the envelope downstairs.
Yeah.
This is like an efficient way to get stuff out.
I agree, but I still think, but I really wanna see a budget that's got that's broken out so that we can really get our heads around what we're doing and not be so kinda general with.
So H was pretty much more of an outreach type of a.
It is, yeah,
Okay.
it can be combined, yeah.
Okay.
So, and going forward, if we could, Tara, on the agenda, maybe just keep that as a topic, our outreach efforts, I don't know what else to
Yeah, I
call
think
it.
that's probably.
Just so
always
that
an
it
item
rolls
for
over
discussion.
and we're staying on it, and we can keep these items under that category.
Just, I do have one thing kind of related to this. Also in the charter for the commission, it talks about how we're supposed to be maintaining a list of buildings, and I'm curious, is that list digital? Is it something we can access? Is it something we can link to?
A list of which, the ones we landmarked or the ones that we're planning on landmarking or?
It gives a name for it specifically. I can look.
In the ordinance?
Yeah, it gives a name. It's all in capitals. So it's like a specific named list.
Well, there's supposed
Here
to be a
it is.
list of.
Maintain a list of significant historic properties through the periodic updating of the Trinidad Inventory of Historic Buildings.
Well, there must be a
That was
list,
on
because
the,
you guys
that was
did
on
an
the survey,
inventory.
wasn't it? That was the survey?
I believe so, I believe that's what that is.
And that's one of the things that did
So-
list for the CLG for getting a grant, was that we need to do another survey soon. That was recommended on the, that's one of my,
And that we do need to pay.
on my
consultants
report,
for.
that's what I was going to, I did do the CLG and make sure we're done for last year, so we got our nice official, approval that our CLG
So
covered. But it does recommend on there as one of the recommendations, we
It's been
recommend
over 20
that
years, right?
we do a survey project.
Well,
Can we back up just a second, because you finish your thought.
Well, I'm still curious, where is this list? What form does it exist in? Because it says we're supposed to
I think
maintain
it
a
might
list,
be part of the survey.
Yeah, I think it's on the
I believe it's
survey
a
for the
survey that
budget,
is on the website.
Yeah.
and it says through periodic updating, so.
which is what I think the CLG was recommending is it's almost time for us to do another update on it.
Okay,
So it said 2026 is what they recommend we finish the new survey by.
okay. And is that survey, is that this thing, 2021?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you for the visual
Yeah.
assistance.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out how these things fit together, so.
Yeah, no, very good question.
So
Yeah.
the inventory of historic buildings is just in these reports. It's not like a database or
no, they don't have
a
it.
file anywhere, okay.
It's also something that we need to be doing
Well,
outreach on.
yeah, because,
Well, that's online though, right? Yeah, so it is
The
online.
link
this is online,
Yeah, but it
it's not
doesn't
not
have
very,
like, he wants like, I know what he's
Well,
looking for.
I'm
is
asking, like, yeah, can you
searchable,
search-
database.
Oh,
like, is my building, whatever.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, yeah, no, we don't have one of those. Though it would make a lot of sense to have one of those.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's see where we are here with, I
sorry.
think that's okay, we kind of jumped to reports, and because I do want to focus more specifically, Tara, on the CLG update. But I really also want to make sure that we are getting our officers elected for
Yeah,
this
that,
coming year,
assuming
so-
that he is not gonna make it, cause.
So I'd like to, if you don't mind, I'd like
Nope.
to, if everybody's okay with that, I'd like to go ahead and, ask for nominations for, chair and vice chair, just real quick, you can, it is permissible to nominate oneself. Don't believe you can vote for yourself, you can nominate yourself, and it is just for 1 year. So, having said that, are there any nominations for chair of the
I'd like to
HPC?
nominate Carlos.
Sorry?
is nominating Carlos.
Do you accept that nomination?
Sure. Yeah, I'll accept it.
So the plan is that we need to vote on each nomination, so.
Just keep in mind, my appointment ends in November, so,
Your appointment,
yeah, on the board, and I don't know what's reported
no,
to.
mine had lapsed at one point too.
It's almost the whole year,
Yeah, so anyway, just,
and it could be reinstated.
yeah, I know, I'm just saying that, I'm just putting that out there.
Thank you for disclosure.
Yeah, I'm just disclosing everything here.
So there is a nomination has been made for Carlos Madrid to serve as chair of the HPC for this next year. Can we call a vote, Ms. Tara?
Yes, okay, for the nomination of Carlos, I'll call a vote. Elizabeth?
Yes.
Derek's not here. Chris
Yes.
and Lauren.
Yes.
Okay, nomination has been voted on. We have a new president, a new chair of the Historic Preservation Commission.
So I gotta hit the meeting now, right?
Pardon?
No, you'll head the next one.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Started,
Yeah.
yes,
Sorry,
next
yes.
one you'll start.
I'll brush up
Okay.
on my,
Robert's rules of order.
Parliamentary procedure, and yes.
Actually, Steve was wanting to meet with you, and then whoever the vice chair is, to go over.
Oh,
That would
okay.
be awesome.
He'll do a little meeting and go.
I was like, why, what did I do?
You're already in trouble.
Okay, so,
Okay, so that, we've dispensed with the chair for next year. Thank you. We now need to accept nominations for vice chair. Do we have any?
I nominate Chris.
just gonna
He's on a roll over here.
Chris Bryan has been nominated by Lauren Rogers to serve as vice chair. May we have roll call or a vote, please?
Okay, Elizabeth,
Yes.
Derek's not here, Carlos,
Yes.
and Lauren.
Yes.
Yay, yes, congratulations. So now we have an actual chair and vice chair serving this next year. That will be super, so we can get a lot done. All these things that I've scratched on our agenda tonight will actually happen, right?
I'd like to make it happen.
Yes, that's great. Thank you so much.
Sure. Oh, we're not on the meeting.
Okay, so we're gonna back up. We're gonna ask for any new business at number 6 on the agenda.
No new business.
Okay, we're gonna go move on to reports at number 7. Chairperson's report, city council liaison update. I think it's just been rolling over, and maybe if you do get to meet with Steve, Mr. Ruger, you could ask about that. I think there was some specific reasons. I know we've talked about this a number of times, so just see what he thinks about it. I think, again, the onus is really gonna be on us to, as you say, to go to meetings and to make ourselves known. We're not gonna wait for people to come to us. It just doesn't work that way, does it? Okay, and
Well, I think they're voting on the interim.
Tomorrow.
For the next, tomorrow.
How does that mean?
so my report is that I did hear from
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
point of order from Mel Turing. You guys know Mel?
Malcolm.
Mel is active in outdoor rec
No.
stuff, I believe. Lives here in Trinidad. At any rate, she is working with Haskell Hooks on the Cathay Williams
Oh,
Okay.
effort to get a memorial of some kind established on Main Street.
They're doing a statue, am I correct?
What's that?
They're doing a statue, am I correct?
Yes, they're
Right.
trying to get a statue built. And so what she is asking from the HPC are a couple of things. And one is to provide a letter of support. She's got a template that she sent. I'll send it on to Ms. Tara, and then she can share it with our new chair. And we can decide if that's something that we want to do. We want to support them in a general way, but she would also like to come to our next meeting in February and talk a little bit about that effort. Today I sent her, just coincidentally, there was I think it's a federal, I forget the name of the actual grant that came across, but it's for underserved populations, for cultural heritage, and it looked like a really promising grant. So I sent it on to her, and perhaps they'll be able to use that to get this project going. So that's the only thing I have to report from the chair's report, except maybe official, just to thank everybody again for our Echoes film event, our Smithsonian companion event that we did last Saturday, that I think was really well received, and I think Jeff is going to continue to process how to get that film out.
He's working with Anissa.
Yeah, and that they'll figure out, where it goes from here. So, any other chair or any other commissioners have a report? Chris?
No, the
Kind
event
of
was great.
covered
It was
everything
fun.
already. Okay.
All right, mine is just we already went over that I got the certified local government documents out, and we got accepted, and they're just recommending, the only recommendation they had was to look at doing a new survey plan, and they recommended before 2026 that we get a new survey plan done. They did recommend, they said that we might want to consider going for a grant in order to pay for the project. And that we do need to I need to get more of the meetings sent to them. They want minutes right away, sent weekly or monthly instead of at the end of the year, which is the only other update that they had.
So is that the same CLG updated report? So you recall the city had a visit, or what's the word for it, an evaluation by History Colorado earlier?
That had nothing to do with us, no. That ours is, they send me a 25-page application that I have to go through and fill it out, and they want all the information from our minutes, our meetings, if we've gone to attended any of their conferences. I can talk, I promised. But yeah, just they
So
have
that's
great
the
detail.
routine recertification for
Every
CLG.
year that they send it, and they went to Chris, which is what caused the biggest issue. We were a little late turning ours in this year, because it went to Chris and didn't come to me, even though I had updated all the information with them that I had taken over. But for some reason, it went to her email, and thank goodness Audra went through it when she did, because she found it. So we got it turned in on finally.
So our CLG status is intact?
Yes, everything is
That's-
good.
That's just good it's good every year. I
Yeah,
guess.
well, we have to update it every year, so I have to reapply every year for it. But they did say that their only recommendation is we update our survey.
Do we know how much the survey cost last time?
I can do some research to find out. I don't know how much it was. That was pretty me.
Because that survey wasn't the most recent one, the 2020 was a
2021.
windshield survey, and as opposed to there's another classification more in depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, limited windshield survey.
Limited with, because maybe we're just getting a more in-depth survey of what was already done with the windshield.
I think, yeah,
Maybe
just
that's what we're looking for.
does these sort of different sections. The Corazon is one, but it's also got like south and east Corazon. It's not the entire city though.
Yeah, it's like key areas.
Yeah, they only
Kinda get a
go
sense
off
of
our
it.
historical district area.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's just a recommendation. They said we need to get it done at least before 2026.
Okay.
Well, I think those are really important and they're really helpful for us to have, so if we can get clear on kind of how extensive it needs to be, and that I'm sure will drive the cost for it.
We should also add it to our grants efforts.
So that's
Yeah.
what they recommended, is that we use one of their grants to pay for it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty straightforward. I think there's different levels of grants that the History Colorado has, and I think they're pretty basic,
Yeah,
not
for
terribly
surveys.
involved.
I don't know, the one that I printed was 16 pages.
That's probably
It's,
not terrible for.
Yeah. I know, I've seen them that are like way bigger than
Yeah.
that. Well, we can, I mean, we can talk about the next meeting.
Okay,
And then
anything
we'll-
else from you, Tara?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, so our, if there's no further business, meeting's adjourned.